All right, good morning, everybody. Market opening up in about a minute. I have no water. All right, market open. Market open. Everything's red. Run for the hills, everybody. Run for the hills. 0.35% down. Only AEYE is green on my screen. Got quite a bit of red. Acacia, Amarin. EQM is green. CERN is green. Looks like particle colliders are good business, and that's not what they do. It's pretty funny. SoFun, CMCM, Facebook is up. That's always encouraging. Ring, THRM, ZS, Slope, Tandem, New Skid. Apple's up a smidgen. Getting on with that program. Look at yesterday's good day for Apple. Increased volume. Even rose after hours. Of course there's news. There's news on Apple every hour or so. All right, and we have AEYE up 2% today. After a pretty good day yesterday, I mean, look at this past 1, 2, 3 days. That's a good series of events continuing here this morning for AEYE. Not bad. Looks like it's trying to get out of this level right there. What's up, Rob? Winnebago, Acacia. Fortinet down 0.67%. It's going down. Ooh, look at that. Lots of green back on my screen. SoFun had a pretty good day yesterday. Oh, looks like a... Oh, I didn't notice that drop off. That dropped off right about when Chesapeake dropped off. What's up, Lucas? Good morning. EDU Acacia coming back a little bit. Look at how muted that selling's been the past 3 days. Even yesterday, which was mainly most of the day was spent slowly going back up after a large drop. Selling was very muted. That's a pretty good sign. You hope. Chesapeake down 2.29% today. Wow. Match.com, AMRN. Still hanging out. But yeah, INSG coming back a little bit. It held that low yesterday. We talked about buying that low right in the morning. Low risk trade looks like so far it's paying off. And we'll see if it's going to end up being a thing or not, but held that low pretty nicely so far. Hard to argue that. Thoughts about KHC? Let's check about KHC. Kind of like KFC, but without the yummy chicken, I would assume. Oh, nope. Nothing like KFC. Holding the 32 level for a long time. So, there's always a gap fill opportunity potentially here. I do agree holding that level's pretty good. So if it's something that you do want to partake in, you kind of have your line in the sand, which is that low, looks like 3150 is your risk. So we're looking at about a 5% risk based on 33 to 3150, and that's not too bad. Potential reward of about 26%. Even getting to this would be considered a gap fill in my mind and lots of other people's minds too. That's fully possible. It's kind of a bit of a rounded shape to it. It's not really moving though. Usually you want to see, there we go. Usually you'd like to see volume start to come in or something. We do have a little bit of price movement here recently, undercutting or overcutting this line. Like I said, volume's not too bad, but yeah, not my personal cup of tea. Yeah, I would really wait. Like, see, this would have been a day I would have liked to have been interested on this very large volume day here. That, although not quite a pocket pivot, it did have an extreme event. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I guess it was a pocket pivot. So this is a pocket pivot, and this would have worked out nicely. You'd have a nice little, 2.5% gains, good for the depth of this base. But if you're looking for bigger gains, I don't think it's maybe too bad trying to target that 41 level. But it just hasn't had any interest as of late. And if I'm going to put money at risk in something like this, I better see a lot of interest. This is interest right here. That's a full-fledged pocket pivot at a low. So I'd be interested in getting in there, but I don't know if I'd be interested in getting in here. And that's regardless of what it's doing this morning. This is just kind of a nail in the coffin for me. Not something I'm particularly interested in taking a risk on. Oh, what'd it do, Alec? Oh, snap. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, Alec. So what we talked about yesterday was, let's say it crossed this 380 level. That's really kind of the conclusion I came up with, is that if it crosses 380, maybe you give it 100%, a bit of room. And this is why, not saying I knew it was going to go lower. I'm saying that you basically place a line in the sand where you're willing to get out. In the moment, though, it's really tough. Those are very, very. Oh, okay. You're still getting upside. I bought a 362.50 put for 418. Okay. Yeah, you're getting a little bit. So I will say this: don't put too much of that profit at risk. I'm just gonna say that you don't want to end up eroding it with a bunch of smaller, horrible trades that you're gonna lose out on. Not saying that one's gonna lose. Just generally speaking, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where a lot of that profits. That's a great, huge profit. Keep all of it if you can. So what my recommendation was yesterday Well, I gave you lots of options. One of my favorite recommendations in this scenario is selling partial, but I didn't know if you I, I didn't know if you had one put or 8 puts. I had no idea. So in a situation like this, like I was saying, you could take partial profits in a windfall like that, up 5 to 700%. Let's say you had 8 puts, you could have taken 2 out, okay, and that would have covered your trade. Period. That would have been your break-even trade, and then you could say, okay, if it breaks, you know, because I think we were talking earlier in the morning, right? You could say, okay, if it breaks another high or something, or breaks a trend line, some metric, you could have maybe even used moving averages. I mean, you could have used some kind of some line on the chart instead of a gut feeling. That's the problem. Is everybody uses gut feelings, especially when you're up so much. I mean, I kind of even still suffer from that. Oh, you had one, yeah, so you were okay. Well, then, hey, don't be mad, man. 700%, who cares? I mean, really, um, I've done a lot of trades where I've taken pretty big profits, and then things have gone on to have bigger profits. But it doesn't negate the fact that I ended up with big profits, right? So take solace in that. Take solace in the fact that your read was correct on the market, and then try to duplicate that. But see, here's the thing. When you have a large success like that, don't let it give you a big ego. You don't want to conflate success with being right. Okay? You had a great trade, and then go back and write the reasons why you had that good trade. Like what were the reasons that made you successful? So let's do that. Let's trading journal your plan, Alec, because that was a great trade. So why? And I'm just going to make assumptions here, and you can please correct me if I'm wrong. Number one, big news. Okay, that's the number one factor. Don't conflate news with big news. Those aren't the same thing. So if you have a stock that has some willy-nilly news, don't start going placing big bets. You've got to have big news. Big news. Number two, I'm assuming you came off of a high level. So so that's the kind of the general setup is under the bias of big news. We had a gap down, and we had a retracement near the gap level, right? So you had a retracement near the gap level, and for some reason, you decided to take a short. Well, the question is, what were those reasons? Okay, were you using a technical metric? Was it a gut feeling? Because those can be invaluable, because when before you jumped in the Boeing trade, you weren't as biased then as you are now. So try to recreate those emotions and say, okay, this is what I had this very solid feeling that, okay, based on the 50-day moving average, whatever your metrics are, based on this and XYZ, that this is a good thing to short. And then number three, why did you choose what option you chose? Okay, so big news. 2 is retracement or gap level. 3 is why enter then. At least for me it would be. And then 4 would be what option to go with. For me, that would kind of be my thing. Okay, now keep in mind, if all you did all year long was wait for a 700% trade, I mean that would be pretty good. The reason originally was announcement of second software issue or production. Okay, so additional news. Why enter then equals additional news. And I would argue, based on the premise of Boeing's original news of faulty planes, the news of still faulty planes versus fixes, because they had some good news and now they had some bad news again. So that's your bias. If you ever see that setup again, Alec, and you have the same impetus, do it again and let me know. Okay, so you went all in on hopefully a position and not the account. If you did go all in on the account, congratulations. Usually not the best thing to do, But yeah, so big news, retracement to near gap level, additional bad news, and then you bought the option because that's how much you had to spend. Um, okay, I think you have a strategy. So now this is a strategy that you can't duplicate tomorrow probably, but you probably can duplicate it next time something happens with, I don't know, a big pharma company. Maybe there's a recall from a dairy facility. Maybe there's, trying to think of big things, like the Samsung phone issue with the battery back in the day. So I don't know, write the rules down. This is what made me 700%. Because 3 years from now, you're still going to think about this trade. Guarantee you. You're going to be like, I want to duplicate this trade. And unfortunately, the wanting of that is going to lead you to failure. Okay? Because you're not going to have the same setups. You're not going to have, it's not going to be Boeing. Keep in mind, Boeing is one of the predominant companies on the globe. And you're going to try to repeat this with some garbage software company from Toledo, Ohio, or something like that, right? So, duplicating that success is fine. Find the things that made that a success, and don't confuse other factors with these factors. So, hold on a second. I gotta go get my water. Okay. Ah. All right, I got me some water now. You too, Alec. All right, VFF up 2.21% today. Not doing horribly. We got EDU, Acacia up 1%, Fortinet, Match, AMRN. Oh, very nice. Trying to get back up there towards highs. That could be good. Market down 0.25%. Looks like it's just taking a break, which is fine. We got Square up 1%. Still tightening. Square actually coiling up quite nicely, as a matter of fact. Maybe it'll finally try to catch up with PayPal and those guys. It's hard to say. It hasn't really paid off in the past couple of months. 93 rating. It's ranked 12th in its industry group, which sucks. 75% EPS change last quarter, which is good. 82 average EPS growth for the past 3 quarters. Estimate revisions have been lower. 185% 3 years EPS growth rate. 51%. I mean, it's still got some pretty good metrics. Accumulation distribution is a C. Up-down volume is a 1.2. No change in funds owning stock. Wow, that's pretty ominous. 8 quarters of increasing fund ownership. That may change if that statistic holds true. Percentage of change in the number of funds owning a stock. Latest report from the prior quarter. Mutual fund ownership on the rise. The number of consecutive quarters where fund ownership has increased. IBD 50 adds Square. That was 328. Square showing rising relative strength on March 22nd. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it at all. The VFF 3.25%. Keep going, you bastard. INSG, as we noted earlier, holding those lows from yesterday. Right at that level, not doing too bad. We have a screen of green now. Let's see what we got. We got Stone 2.83. Are you making a comeback? Are indeed. We'll see if that same line that was support before acts as resistance currently. ZS, TZA, Facebook. Gappy Happy with kind of a broadening formation there. Good volume this morning. Look at that volume on the 5-minute chart. That's really good volume this morning. I like that. That's pretty healthy. Stock price raised at Morgan Stanley. Facebook monetizes messaging. And everyone just hates Facebook. Bends to EU pressure on misleading fine print. Interesting stuff there for Facebook. TZA, this is a 3 times Russell short. There's the bear market, and there's the resuming bull market. Twilio, okay, out of the frozen rope pattern, finding so far some support on the 50-day moving average. This would be its first test of the 50-day moving average, and could potentially lead to a rise about 8% there to recent highs on Twilio. That's not bad. I'm not really mad at this one. Looks like it's trying to get above. Volume isn't that great. We'll see if we can get above that 124 level on some volume. That could be a good trade. If the market gets going again, Twilio with maybe a move up did kind of break this channel, but 50 days more important than this channel. Although it looks like you probably could argue there's a different channel as well. Right there. So I was looking at that point the entire time. So I line there, looking at that point, stop it, and look where we stop right there, about by the 50-day, kind of where we're finding support. So that's not too bad. So getting back to 136. That's some pretty decent percentage gains. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm not quite sure if it'll take, I wonder how many days it's going to take. What the fuck? How come my L types O? What are you frickin' auto-correcting me? They're frickin' auto-correcting me on my exchange. Stupid. Alright, I'm going to take that trade. I'm going to take for that to go back to 136. Maybe it'll go beyond. We'll have to wait and see there, but that's a pretty good setup right there for Twilio. Volume increasing here a little bit on this 5-minute candle. Trying to get above highs, holding up pretty good, and bouncing off the 50-day moving average. I like that. Let's do that. The other one I like, INSG, still at 0. This is could be an interesting trade with a good risk reward on it. Trying to line this one up. So INSG. So let's just say my target's 6. There we go. Take this bitch out to September and you get 37%. All right, let's put Twilio down here. Chesapeake. Man, I sold that like a boss yesterday. Sold it right there. About 3.5. That was great. Pretty much exactly, almost exactly what I thought it would do. Quicker than I thought it would do it, but can't complain about that. And Fortinet, no new high yet. There's Twilio. Okay, looks like we broke out of that little level. Hopefully it's clear skies from there. I mean, you've got kind of on the right side of this chart, we got some resistance here. And then we don't have much here until that 128 level. So that's not too bad. So from 3 point whatever percent. Excuse me. Oh, you know, the other day I was looking for that ascending base. I never did find it. Let's go find it. Tandem trying to come out of a low level, came back to the gap point and found some support here the other day. And that one could also be trying to get back up there towards the 70 something level. It's already at 63 though, 64. Maybe trying to go back up to 74 for Tandem. VFF, Stone. There's Twilio. Carvana looks like it can't even make a new low. EDU, look at that. Still rocketing out of that setup. MEDP, Shen. What's Shen doing? Nothing. Shen's doing nothing. Coop. Wow. Trade Desk, what are you doing? Looks like you're trying to set up a Another weird base. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also maybe working on a flat base. 16.72%. A little deep for a flat base. Little deep. Little deep. Alibaba, we talked about this one in a flat base yesterday. And still didn't quite get the breakout yesterday, did it? It did not. It stopped. And the volume today isn't very strong, so even if it's going to be a breakout, it could be a weak breakout. Damn. Look at that. 10 to 70. Or 65. Wow. Need to go back and say, why didn't I believe in this stock? Match.com looks like kind of finding a little bottom here. Yesterday appeared to be a pretty nice bullish candle off of a low. This is an outside day coming outside of this. That could be a nice reversal for Match.com. I'm not mad at that. May have to jump back into a match trade. I'd like a little more volume, but is what it is. Still trying to find that. Cena really backing away from that trend line touch. ANET. Paycom. Finding support at that 50-day moving average straight up. Right there. There's 50-day support. And see, this right here is pretty good. This is your moving averages getting parallel to one another. That can sustain rallies like this. That's always really good to see. And usually the biggest leading stocks have that. Tesla, what are you up to? Pretty flat at 273, not too bad. Five. Beautiful base. Kind of a little bit of a deep handle. Garmin. Can't stop, won't stop. I believe that's a 5G play, Garmin. Could be wrong, but I think that's why they're doing good. MMP. Wow, see, this is not bad. This is only down 38% over frickin' like 6 years. Have to look into that one. Look into MMP. There's just so little volatility in this name. Let's do that. Let's look into MMP. But the Magellan, are they oil? Midstream partners. Oh, they are oil and gas. Engaged in the transportation, storage, and distribution of refined petroleum products in the U.S. 67 composite rating, ranked 15th in their industry group. Negative 13% EPS change last quarter. 59% last 3 quarters average EPS growth. Everything else is 0 and red. Sales 29%. Last quarter pre-tax margin 46%. ROE 58%. Those are good metrics. Really good metrics. 14.3 billion. B minus accumulation distribution, which is positive. A 1 up down volume. Excuse me. 3% change in the fund's owning stock. 2 quarters of increasing fund ownership. Looks like they pay a $1 dividend, which isn't too bad. Quarterly dividend? They're being obfuscated by some of the other. Is that a quarterly 80-cent dividend? So they're paying like $4, so like a 8%. 8% yield. 6.37% dividend percentage for MMP. That's pretty good, man. I'm sorry. I'll take a 6% yield with a chart like this. That's really good. You got a pretty good support level there at 54. You're right on top of it at 62. I mean, what else are you going to ask for? That's pretty good. So let's do this. All right, they got options going out to January. Let's sell a 52.5 put. Let's sell about 1 million of those, because you're never going to undercut that the way oil's going. Their return on everything is pretty good. Margin 51%. I mean, 6.37 dividend yield is solid, and with a chart like that, that's kind of hard to argue. Look at that thing coming back from 2008. It was at $10, up here at 90. Currently at 62. I'm not really mad at that whatsoever. Although I can't necessarily say it's gonna be a breakout candidate and kind of rip roar back up to $90 anytime soon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Been here about 4.5 years. Well, you could get, let's say it does get back up there, that'd be about 40% increase. Such an interesting play. If you know more about this sector, especially the oil pipeline stuff, then you could probably make some good decisions. Yeah, so even going back to 90 by 2021, which would be here, would be a move like this. Would yield you 987%. But you have no idea if that's going to happen. No idea whatsoever. Alright, so I'm just gonna watch that just so the numbers are, because the numbers are big. Alright, Twilio 2.19, VFF 2%, Acacia 1%. Let's keep going with looking for this ascending base. IDXX with a nice weekly pattern. That's some hot garbage. Oh, it's INSG. Has the potential ascending base. It was staring me right in the face the entire time. What the hell? That's stupid. That's ridiculous. It was INSG. The ascending base was INSG. Oh. Wow. That's dumb. This is the one I was looking for. Okie dokie. NASDAQ, 0.15% down. Looks like it's maintaining itself pretty nicely here this morning, half an hour into the trading day. Beautiful day outside, sunny, about 64 degrees. Slight breeze coming from nowhere because no trees are moving. Very stagnant air today. INSG, there you go. Potential moving up to that. And probably stop at that 689 prior high. EDU looks like FTNT VFF. This one pulled back a little bit. It was up 2%. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of pullback. FTNT looks like it's kind of maintaining levels here, which is nice. Have Riot down 3% today. No biggie. EDU moving pretty nicely out of this whole area here. Oh, what was down here? Holly down 21%. My goodness, what happened to you? On a downgrade? Wow. Buy this one. Buy this name right now. Holy crap. That was a joke, by the way. But it does remain that it is an analyst downgrade that made it do this, and so not quite sure if you can take that seriously. Not 21%. So if this thing settles down, that could be a potentially nice reversal play, but it looks like they dumped it pretty heavily this morning. NBEV down 12%. Oh, after yesterday's. Yeah, what did that end up? Wow. Very uncanny 38%. A lot of stocks can't get past that 30% level. This thing just didn't stop. Look at that volume coming in, man. And then boom, big topping candle taking some profits right there. What are some of the other MJ stocks doing? Cron up 1%. Okay. After a pretty bad day yesterday, along with NBEV. CGC taking it on the chin today instead of yesterday. ACB holding okay. MJ down 1.2%, undercutting looks like the other day's low. Not such a good technical situation, not being supported by the 50-day moving average. So that kind of messes up some stuff. And Twilio being bouncing off that 50-day, behaving pretty good so far. Maybe next couple of days we can get rallying out of that and get back on with the program. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here today. I'm gonna call it a day. Market's doing okay. We'll see if we don't sell off today. That'd be great if we just kind of hold where we go. IBD was noting the other day that not too many stocks are breaking out, but they're also not breaking down. So you kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit in that regard. So I'm doing that, and looking for entries here and there. So, all right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow, and have a good one. Bye-bye.